Okay, this is another test. Another test I'm doing here, just to make sure this webcam is working properly. Because sometimes when I tape something, the sound cuts out, as always. I don't know whether it's the webcam or whether it's something unstable going on with my computer, but I would say it's my computer. I must have caught a lot of viruses. But let's get on to what I'm going to talk about. And I will post this on my other channel and also my sports channel. It has to do with Richard Sherman, the cornerback or safety for the Seattle Seahawks. And of course, you know the Super Bowl is 2 weeks away. They're going to play against the Denver Broncos and Peyton Manning and company. But I want to get on with this video. Richard Sherman, as you all know, he did a couple of interviews after certain games, particularly this one against San Francisco 49ers in the NFC Conference Championship. And I must say that he was pretty pumped up and hyped. And he said something, and the interviewer asked him something. And he, I don't know, apparently he answered some questions, being all pumped up. But then he went into a conference, okay, and said that, expressed his anger and disappointment at the press because of them labeling him as some sort of thug or criminal. Now, he's called a thug and a criminal. That's a stereotype that they give to black men, even though there's some black men that don't fit this stereotype. I mean, he's being called a thug despite the fact that he stayed out of trouble. He played football and sports in college. I mean, he maintained a 4.0 GPA, and he graduated with a degree in communications from Stanford University. Now, Stanford University, that is a grand school in the U.S. I mean, Stanford goes right up there along with Harvard and Yale in the United States. He graduated from there. He got a degree, and he's going for his master's degree in communications. Now, and they press, when they interviewed him, he's been called a thug. Okay? I mean, you have a black man that stay out of trouble. He maintains a 4.0 grade point average, and he graduates with a degree, and yet the press and the American society itself labels itself as him as a thug. I mean, that's the type of stereotype that people give black men, despite them staying out of trouble, staying out of the legal criminal justice system, staying out of prison. But that's how they want to label black men. And it's the same thing here in Canada. If you go to Toronto, probably a lot of black men in Toronto are being locked up in the penitentiary or committing a lot of crimes in the Jane Finch area of Toronto. But of course, you got to remember, slavery was not practiced in Canada. But maybe it was, but as I said, in a covert manner. But it's pretty sad that Richard Sherman has been labeled a thug. But then I hear about Justin Bieber, that so-called singer, last night. He got arrested for drug possession and vandalism and all sorts of mischiefs. And he's, what I heard, he got sentenced to 3 years in prison. Of course, he got released on bail, but he's got criminal charges pending against him, and he's not labeled a thug. Okay, I mean, here you have a punk-ass kid, or a so-called singer, who commits all these mischiefs. He's rude to his fans. He's One time he was up on a balcony in some place and he spit on a fan. Like, how disgusting is that? He spits on a fan and he's not called a thug. And you have Richard Sherman, who's got a degree and he's very polite, despite the fact being pumped up for football games. And he's been called a thug. And Justin Bieber is not called a thug. And he's a punk kid. He's a punk ass kid. Spits on his fans. He's rude to people. He vandalizes buildings. Takes his rented Lamborghini and speeds through the residential area where people live. I mean, if he did that, he could have ran over a lot of people and killed them. And he still would get off scot-free. But this just goes to show you how the criminal justice system works in America. And maybe to some extent Canada, but in America, I mean, you see more black men locked up in jail than white men, even despite the fact that statistics show that white men commit the majority of the crimes. They even commit more crimes than black men. Yet, this is never mentioned in the media. Okay. And then, what is never mentioned is black men graduating from college at a higher rate than white men. And yet, you go to the job market, systematic racism at its best. Okay, then you have more white men getting hired for jobs, despite them being assholes and having a criminal record, than a black man never getting hired for a job, despite him having thousands of college degrees or 2 college degrees, a grade point average very high, always staying out of trouble, staying out of the criminal justice system. And you have all this bullshit stuff in the job market. It's even probably worse here in Canada. We still have this systematic racism that persists. I mean, think about this. You go and you want to run a business, okay? You go to a bank. I mean, if they see you as a black person, they won't give you a bank. They won't even give you a credit or even a bank loan to start a business. I'm not saying all cases, but some cases, but most cases, they see a black person wanting to run a business, they won't give them a bank loan. They see a white person who probably has a fucked up credit rating, they probably give him a bank loan. You see the injustice that's there? But anyways, getting back to Richard Sherman, I mean, I think it's sad that they label him, or Fox Sports and all this fucking corporate cronies, media cronies, label him as a thug. I mean, that's pretty sad to me. I mean, because he seems like a very good man. He was just hyped up because he was playing a game. Okay, let's take the contrast of Richard Sherman and Justin Bieber. Richard Sherman gets good grades. He graduates with a degree. And yet, the media stereotypes him as a thug. And you got Justin Bieber on the other hand, a punk-ass kid who has no talent. Well, they say he has talent, but fuck that shit. He probably lip-syncs through songs like There's No Tomorrow. It's a punk-ass who's rude to his fans, spits on his fans, sleeps with hookers, does drugs, and now gets arrested and in trouble with the law. And he's not labeled a thug. What kind of sense does that make? Makes no sense to me. It is what it is. I just thought I would get that off my chest. I'm done.